Hello everybody, can you hear me okay? Alright, I probably don't need this, but we're going to do a couple of things tonight to make it fun. So my partner Mary here is going to do a little bit of Facebook Living to show the world how I present and what I get up to. So we might leave the lights up for a bit and then take them off, what have you. Okay? Alright, everyone settled in. Thanks for having me. Who has heard me talk before? Alright, oh God, we're all bored then. Well, thanks for coming. And I hope you enjoyed the night. Great. And then there's only a few of you who haven't. Alright, so who heard me talk at VAPS then? Alright, a few. Okay, good, that's better. Alright. Well, you'll enjoy seeing this again. It's been almost 6 months or something like that. Oh no, she says. No.
9 months have passed and you've got no new material.
No, there's plenty of new material. But Lisa said that the aerial photography is the best stuff. I mean, actually, there is. Well, it's my passion at the moment, so I'm best to speak passionately about what I do. I think so. No, I'll talk all about that. I have a drone, but I rarely use it.
Yeah, we were talking about doing more with it.
Yeah, I know, I need to. Yes, yeah. Have to go around to it. No, don't talk about it, just do it. Quite right, Rita. There's a lesson in there for everybody, isn't there? Okay? This is going to be fun. Nice, small, intimate group. Lots of interaction, which I love. It's nothing more boring for me than standing up here and talking the whole night. I mean, I could go to midnight and probably still not get done, right? I've got 20 years worth of photography to share with you, or 30 if you include when I started, which when I was 13. I'll get into that in a sec, right? I'm only 33, you wouldn't believe it.
You must have been very sick.
Thanks very much. Let's see if I can get this working so we can kick things off, right? So the idea is that we make it really interactive, okay? So stop me at any time, ask questions, you know, however irrelevant you think it is, because somebody else will be thinking the same thing, I'm sure. And my goal whenever I present is to not only entertain you, not just with my bad jokes, but also my good photographs, but also to inspire you as well as educate you. So the education comes from you guys asking lots of questions too, right? So don't presume that you know, everybody knows what I'm talking about, because you know, it's not until I started teaching photography back in 2005 that I realised how much I had learned, and yet I didn't feel I learned much. Does that make sense? You know, like it's amazing. You know, anyone who's in education will realise that you learn a lot by teaching, but then you also realise that you've learned a lot along the way in order to be able to teach what you're teaching. So will this work? Play. Oh yes, oh this is good. Alright. Yeah, let's drop the lights. Let's get intimate, okay? So, that's my website, tomputt.com. Please jump on board and have a look at that and ooh and ah and give me some feedback. I've just revamped it. I've literally spent 2 weeks on it full time just making it look schmicko, and I've added some really cool stuff in there, like some free tips and things like that. So please give me your feedback on that. I'd love to hear from you. Alright, so tonight we're going to talk about aerials, okay? So a real passion of mine that I've had for, the first time I went in a plane or a helicopter to shoot aerials was back in 2000, earlier than that, 1996. Do we want to kill that one at the back as well? Okay, not the person, the lights, okay, for those on Facebook. So it was 1996 on a helicopter in Hawaii with an ex-Vietnam veteran who took me over those beautiful, you know, the lava that flows into the sea. Amazing, right? Okay. But to sort of give you some context as to where I come from to be where I am today, is that my love has not always been for aerials, it's actually been for panoramic landscape photography. Okay? And I've just got a selection that I'll throw in here. So I was inspired by Ken Duncan many years ago, back in 1997, when he first opened his gallery here in Melbourne. And I walked in and I went, oh my God, as I'm sure many of you have. And to me, I'd always had an interest in landscape photography, but I guess my interest was only as a hobby. It was only until I realised that it could be commercially viable that it gave me the excuse to want to chase it, you know, as a full-time career, to be honest. Okay? So I busily went around the country photographing in every spare minute that I had. And for those who know these places, you shout out, and I'll make sure there's a prize at the end. This is Cape Tribulation up in the far north Queensland, where we're going for our workshop in June. I'll talk more about the workshops later. Okay, here's some more recent stuff. That's down at Cape Schanck looking into Bushrangers Bay, for those who know that area. I'm a Mornington Peninsula resident. Well, Mary and I have lived there for the last 2 years. Absolutely love it. Amazing part of the world. Okay, this is also down in that sort of area. That's the coastal path that takes you down to Fingal Bay, or Fingal Beach, for those who know that part of the world. Okay, so I'm a lover of landscape photography, in particular panoramic landscape photography, and I shot this for probably, I still continue to do it obviously, but for about 20 years or so, right? This is a place called Mini Palms Gorge in the Bungle Bungles. Yes?
Method to create the panorama, is it multi-image or is it?
This is a mixture. That's a great question. Sorry, I don't know your name. Peter, thanks Peter. We haven't met before, haven't we? So Peter's question was, how am I producing, how am I planning this? So it's a mixture of both film, which I shot on 617, 120 roll film for about, I retired that camera about 3 years ago. So I have boxes and boxes of that stuff. So beautiful, art panorama, it's called. It was a generic, Fuji/Lenhoff type camera. A beautiful, big, heavy thing with, a lens stuck on the front, so to speak, but very sharp, at f32. And you throw in your Fuji Velvia and away you go, and shoot 4 pictures per roll, which works out to be about $5 each. Back in the old days, it's a lot more expensive these days because film and processing costs a whole lot more. And then the more recent stuff is taken, it's either cropped from a single frame, because I shoot with now a 645 Pentax Z. Well, I got that all the way around wrong right now. A Pentax 645Z, which is a 50 megapixel camera. And from the photographs that I've now produced to put in my gallery down on the Mornington Peninsula, I can crop the middle out of that, make it a panoramic, and blow it up to at least 2 meters wide, and it looks amazing. So I am stitching as well with that camera, and as well as Nikon's, Canons, things like that I've done over the past years. I'm sorry?
Program for stitching?
Mostly I'm just using Lightroom or Photoshop, to be honest. The recent upgrade, in Lightroom was the best thing since sliced bread, that you could actually stitch it together in Lightroom rather than having to export it out of Lightroom into Photoshop and then re-import it back in. It was worth its weight in gold. So thank you for that question, because it is important for people to know how it is produced. Thank you. So this was at the end of the wet season in the Bungle Bungles, where I shot this, where the Piccaninny Gorge, or Piccaninny Creek as it's called, was flooding side to side, and I had to leave because I closed the park. I came back a week later and all this water's still around. One of my very early photographs taken in the sort of savannah country of Mount Malloy, which is out the back of Cairns. Once you get over that range, you go from rainforest into this very dry savannah country, and that's probably one of the my favourite images shot on film. No, because the story behind this one was that I was referencing. I reference a lot of photographs from my past in terms of what I look at, either on Instagram, Facebook. This was pre-Instagram or Facebook. This was, me looking at the ACF diary, the Australian Conservation Foundation diary, that I absolutely love and still get. I think it's now called the Wilderness Society diary. But going through that and seeing a photograph by Ralph Slater in the Sydney bushfires that they had many years ago, I think in the Royal National Park, and he had a photograph of bark peeling off a gum tree similar to this, and I just happened to be photographing the waterfalls around Cairns this particular day, and on the drive home to Port Douglas, saw out of the corner of my eye a flash of orange and went, oh, I wonder if that's one of those trees, the bark peels. And ironically now we have them in our front garden at home. But anyone who knows their flora better than I will be able to tell me what particular trees do it, but isn't that remarkable? I think it's not necessarily caused by fire, as obviously I'm fire affected in our front garden at home. Maybe it's just an annual sort of thing that they do, but in this particular case, I literally walked through the forest looking for the most impressive type tree. And to be honest, that's how I take a lot of my photographs, Let's have a sort of an educational lesson here. How do you take a good landscape photograph? Well, the first thing you got to do is you just got to look for the wow factor. And when I say the wow factor, if you're standing there going, wow, this looks amazing, you should have your camera out, in my mind. Because then it's going to translate well to a photograph. I think too many of us, no, I shouldn't generalise. I think, I say this to be crass, I don't think you can make a good photograph out of a toilet bowl, okay? And my illustration is this, is that, some subjects are appealing to photograph. To me, this is a stunning photograph, right? Look at this. This is life and death, this is beginning and end, whatever you want to call it, Peter Jarvis, the late Peter Jarvis, landscape photographer, I found a photograph of his that looked very similar to this. He had all these black trees and he had a beautiful white tree, which was a gum tree as well, no doubt taken up sort of North Queensland way, and he called his ebony and ivory. And so, it's a matter of looking for the appealing subject in the first place, okay? I think the best way you become a better photographer is to actually shoot less. And what I mean by that is that you raise your benchmark, you raise your standards so that you're not just photographing everything and hoping something's going to look good. Just be self-aware of what is appealing to you and resist the temptation to just take a photograph for the sake of taking a photograph. Take it because it does look amazing. Right?
Have you done something with the lighting on that tree trunk, the
No,
orange tree?
that's a good question. Are you talking about sort of up the top here?
It's the colour, you flashed it, or just
Yeah.
the light?
No, I haven't. And generally speaking, I don't like to do anything sort of untoward to the photograph. And what I mean by that, selective colouring or lighting and things like that.
Yeah.
I generally, you'll see with my aerials as well, is that I generally just tease out the colour that's already there. Now this is film, so this is just scanned directly from film, The reason that it looks the way it does is because it was an overcast day, very still, and it was lightly raining, which is perfect for this photograph. Because as we know, who's photographed snow guns, when it's raining, they look amazing, they just come alive. So for this particular photograph, all this ground was sort of like a little bit more sort of saturated than what it would be. There's some beautiful sort of colour and reflection coming off the base of these trees here, but then the red in particular is just accentuated by that moisture on the tree trunk. Oh wow, that's a good question. Okay. Who here, let me preface that question by saying, who here has taken a photograph and then come to look at it later on the computer or on the camera and gone, oh, that does not nearly look as good as what it looked. Everyone should have okay.
Not your liar.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So you know what? Encouraging things that it works in reverse as well. I've taken photographs where I've gone, okay, ends up being one of my best selling photographs. You know what I mean? I didn't think much of it, but other people love it. And that's the for you guys. I mean, the trap for me running a gallery is choosing my own photographs because I love them and thinking that everyone else will love them, and that's not the case at all. Mary's got spare at the moment. That's why often I run them past her. And so what do you think of this? And she goes, no, that's not good. But I love it. And she goes, bad luck, you're not buying it. So the other thing, how I translate that into your language is when you're entering competitions, right? Okay? How disappointing is it when you put your favourite photograph in and it doesn't do well? Some judge who you've never met before comes in here and says 8 out of 15 and you go, what are you talking about? Make sure they never come back to the club. They're not welcome. They don't know what they're talking about. Alright? But then other times, it does well. So run it by a few people. Perhaps show it around, if you've got, do you guys have a Facebook page? Yeah, maybe throw it on the Facebook page if you're allowed and say, guys, what do you think of this? And give honest feedback, I've probably spoken out of school there, at least I have. Okay, now the question was, I got sidetracked. How do you... Yeah, okay, great question. Alright, so how is it, I guess, can I translate the question into, how do you make something look as good as what you're seeing? Yeah, okay. That's a $64 million question, isn't it? That's a bit like saying, what's a good composition? Okay, so let me try and answer that in the best way possible. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to a few things. It comes down to analysing the scene and saying to yourself, what is it that I like about this photograph? And making sure you include that in the photograph. And then what is it that I don't need? Because often I see people make the mistake of that they go, wow, I really love this shot of this tree and everything else, and they stand too far back and they include stuff that's irrelevant and it ends up diluting the impact of the photograph. Do you know what I mean? So often when I'm teaching in my workshops, I say to people, we're standing there all taking photographs and I'm looking at the back of their cameras and I'm saying, oh, show me what you got. And I say, okay, if I feel it's a bit off, if I feel it's not as good as it could be, I say to them, what is it that you love about what you're seeing here? Describe it to me. And they say, oh, I really love this tree here with bark peeling off, and then I love the bark on the ground, and then I love the other trees around it. And I say, well, just include that. you know, you've cropped it too high, you've cropped it too low, you're too wide, you're too narrow, etc., etc. You know what I mean? If you say to yourself, construct the photograph, or perhaps try to pre-visualise the photograph before you actually take it, and I think that will avoid some amount of disappointment. Does that help answer your question somewhat? You've got to ask yourself, is this the best light? Is this the best orientation of my camera? Should I be vertical? Should I be horizontal? What sort of lens should I be using? A wide-angle lens? You know, a mid-range zoom or a telephoto? What am I trying to achieve here? I think I'll be able to answer that question better when I look at some more pictures. Is that all right? And I'll be able to talk you through why I took what I did. Okay? So let's keep going here. The famous, the beach boxes down at the Brighton there, having them trail off in the distance there. Standing in close with a wide-angle lens, so that this beach box is, really large in the frame, and then all of the rest just trail into the distance there. If I stood further back, it wouldn't have any impact. So there's a common saying in photography that if your photograph's lacking impact, you're not close enough. It's a lot like that with wildlife photography, okay? You take a great photograph of a lion in savannah in Africa, and you can't see it because it's so small in the frame, and it's not going to have great impact, is it? Yes, Rita?
How do you manage not to get any people? Every time I go down to the beach boxes, it doesn't matter how many it is, how late it is, there's always some people trying to be
I know. I live the block from this beach, so this is my local beach, believe it or not, which I'm quite fortunate. This was taken about 15, 20 years ago before the internet boom and the but there are a lot of Chinese Asians, etc. now who come in their drivers. They drive in buses and they come down on the train and they're there all the time. I know it. My dad goes swimming here every morning and he tells me that there's just any time of night or day. So that's the only reason I've been able to get very few people in there. I promise you I haven't taken out one person, I don't think. So unfortunately I can't give you a straight answer to that. It's just like the luck of the draw, and it's probably impossible these days. Maybe go down the middle of winter. And then on a weekday, you can't get lucky stars if there's no one there. The rainforest around Crotonland, that beautiful Autumn Road that's outside of the Bright there. Okay. A shot that you can't get anymore, the 12 Apostles. Okay. With this beautiful fog taken in January, right? Taken this time. The temperature difference, the inversion of the coolness of the water with the heat of coming off the land, creating that fog and mist.
Tom, did you just fluke at being there on that time, or did you?
Yeah, just fluked it. Yeah, literally. Yeah, first time I went down to photograph it.
No, but you didn't.
I didn't.
Keep an eye on the weather or something to choose something.
No, I just went down knowing that it was going to be nice weather, and so I actually thought there was a bushfire because I was driving along and I'm driving towards the coast, and all of a sudden all this sort of like what I thought was smoke billowing over the cliffs, and I'm like, oh geez, this doesn't look good. And then, and then got this shot, and then that selfishly, that apostle, the best looking one, fell down. I mean, why couldn't it be that one? I refuse to take this photograph now. I don't think it looks as good. That's a good angle though. You can do that shot and still get that today.
Where would you?
Alright, so what you do, and I don't mind telling people because it's a well-worn path, is that the viewing platform is in the background way over here, right? It's way up there. And then what you do is you drive up the road towards Port Campbell, probably about 500 metres, and there's a farmhouse road on your right-hand side. Park down that farmhouse road, don't block the road, of course, and then cross the road very carefully because it's a 100km/h road, and just walk through the scrub directly opposite that road until you hit the cliff. Be careful not to walk off the edge of the cliff, otherwise people might blame me. But I tell you what, if you go late afternoon, particularly now in the summer because of the angle of the light, if you go in winter, you get the shadow of the headland on these apostles and on this cliff edge, and it doesn't look as good. But if you go in the summer now, because the sun's setting so far to the south, it shines into where this is taken here. And the first time I did this, wowzers, it's still etched in my memory today. You come through the scrub and then all of a sudden, there it is, and you're standing against this golden red cliff, and it's just, wow, it took my breath away. Okay, so that's how you get there. Right. Oh, a couple of recent ones. This is very topical. I was speaking to my guide in Bhutan this morning, today about a trip that we're doing there in September as well as February. And this is one of the zongs, they call them, temples. And yeah, another recent shot taken in the last 12 months or so. This is in Namibia, where we're going next month. Anyone want to come to Africa with me next month? We've got a few places left, so come and talk to me after. Mary, she'll take your credit card details straight away before you change your mind. Okay? 2 weeks in Namibia in the best type of weather, because it's the end of the wet season and it's warm, it's hot, but you get these amazing clouds, and I'll tell you what, that's exactly how it looked. It's incredible. Okay? This is a very recent shot taken from St Mary's Peak at the top of the Wilpena Pound there, where I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and walked 2 hours in the dark. I'm not as fit as I used to be. I'm still incredibly good looking, but I'm not as fit as I used to be all those years ago. So, wowzers. If you hear one day that I've keeled over from a heart attack because I'm climbing some mountain or something, don't be surprised.
Were your knees like jelly when you finished? Mine were.
Yeah, pretty much. You've done it too, Rita. Yeah, it's full on climb, isn't it? So I went up at sort of the cold face, right up, the dog track, the shortest way possible. It still takes you 2 hours. But the view, have a look at that. Isn't that incredible? It's like the scales of the back of the crocodile. Magnificent. Blowing a gale. Look, movement in the trees there, right? Freezing cold. All right, so we move on. Aerial photography. So now, people saying, when is he going to get through that? 8:45, and he's still talking about aerials yet. All right, so here we go. This is what we're here for. So, how did I get into aerial photography? Well, I've had an interest in it, but about 12 months ago I said I'm really going to take this, one step further. And there's been a bit of what should I call it, a revolution in landscape photography here in Australia, where we have some excellent aerial photographers doing some amazing work. Okay, likes of Tony Hewitt, Christian Fletcher, Peter Eastway, and my friend Scott McCook over in Perth, Paul Holland. A few of us have really taken a shine into aerial photography, and I guess the reason it's become interesting to me is because all of those beautiful panoramics that you've seen, back here, for example, all those years ago that I took this photograph, well, they've become a little ho-hum for me now, and I don't mean disparagingly. I still take these photographs, but I need more of a challenge. And what better challenge when you're afraid of heights than to put yourself in a helicopter or a plane? I am literally scared of heights. I used to, thank goodness I don't anymore, but I used to have dreams about being on the outside of those fire escapes in New York, for example. The American fire escapes where they have this. I've never been down them. I've never been down one. I wouldn't know, what they look like other than from the movies. But I used to have dreams about being at the top, petrified, crouching down, hanging on, refusing to let go. Having said that, I'm not necessarily a nervous flyer. And I thought this was a good opportunity to challenge myself a bit more. So I decided to set myself a challenge within 12 months to photograph one part of each state of Australia to put together in a beautiful coffee table book, because I'm all about printing my photographs. I love it. Either be, a beautiful piece of wall art for somebody's wall, or in a beautiful coffee table book. Okay? So I selected a region from each state of Australia. So I said Lake Eyre for South Australia. I said the Broome and the Kimberley region for WA, the Red Centre for Northern Territory, the Great Barrier Reef for Queensland, Victoria, Corner Inlet and Wilson's Prom, New South Wales being the Snowy Mountains, and Tasmania. I flipped a coin between the Tarkine in the northwest and then the beautiful Tasman Peninsula in the southeast. Okay, I'll tell you what I did later. I'll leave you in suspense. All right. So this is how it unfolded. October 2016. Lake Eyre. Tarkine. I didn't. Broome. The Hootman and Brollis in Western Australia. Hutt Lagoon in Western Australia. Shark Bay in Western Australia. Snowy Mountains. And off I go. So that's how it ended up. It didn't quite work out as planned, mainly because I got distracted by all these fantastic places to go and photograph. And I'll show you why. And so in the end I ended up photographing far more than I thought I ever would. And the coffee table book now stands at about 520 pages. So it weighs 6.5 kilos, you know, it costs about $50,000 to produce it. So, you know, stop, Tom. You know, you've got enough good stuff. It's time, yes. Yes, everyone needs to invest in a good sturdy coffee table before you buy my book. So this is me just outside of one of the little planes that I tend to hire. I charter them all. How do I find them? I just Google it and say, you know, where's the nearest aerodrome? Find somebody who's a trainee pilot. No, not a trainee pilot, you know what I mean? They train other pilots. They're often the good ones to go out with because they've got many years of experience. Okay? And, you know, take the door off a Cessna 172 and off you go, right? Here I'm wearing a harness. He insists I wear a harness. Most of them don't care. Most of them always I'm wearing a harness for those on Facebook. And off we go. There's me tucked up in the little plane there. There's not much room, right? Not much room at all. How do we photograph? We'll put the door off, or if they don't want to take the door off, they've often got a latch window that when you flip it open, it stays open at 100 knots as you're flying along, and you can shoot that way. Okay? So that's often what the view looks like. Actually, there's a little video here. So this is Shark Bay in Western Australia, but this just gives you a feel for what I see when I'm photographing. Often you've got this annoying thing in the way, which is called a wing strut. And then you've got a wheel arch that's below you as well. So you kind of got to turn around and photograph backwards. So you've got to be looking forwards to make sure you don't miss anything when you're going backwards. Does that make sense? Yeah. You'll see that in a second. Alright? So that's what it looks like. So Lake Eyre, take myself up to Lake Eyre. How do you get to Lake Eyre? Well, you drive, or you can fly to Adelaide, fly to Cooper Pedy, and then drive 2 hours east to William Creek and hire a plane from there with the guys at Wright's Air. They're amazing. Okay, so this is what Lake Eyre looked like for me back then. There's less water in it now. I think it was about 20% full when I was there. But often it's not great to go when it's full of water. Like, it's a spectacular, you know, sight to see it full of water, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But for aerial landscape photography, you don't want anything covered in water because the gold comes when there's no water on it, as you'll see. So I did a series of 4 flights over a week. I gave myself 5 days to be there just in case, you know, we've been inclement weather. But we got it all done in 4 flights, totaling about 8.5 to 9 hours. The longest flight was 4.5 hours, which was basically a circumnavigation of the whole thing. Flying at roughly 500 to 1,000 feet and not a care in the world. Other than the pilot telling me, I better flip that switch and take some more petrol out of the other wing because we're running out of petrol on that wing because we keep circling that way. You know, every time we do a loop, it sucks all of the petrol out of the wing. So how do I shoot? I just literally fly along. I'll often look at a lot of Google Maps on my phone and then you know, do some research online. But often it's just a matter of flying along and going, oh, that looks good. And then I get into what I call a hard turn. I'm sure it's not a technical word, but a hard turn, so basically we're photographing straight down, right? We're not doing good to lose. Okay, and you get this stuff. Right. This is from Lake Eyre South. Okay. If I was to show you the raw file of this, it'd look a bit flat and it'd be colourless, but it's all what's there, right? All you do is just enhance it in Lightroom, a bit of contrast, a bit of saturation, a bit of clarity. Because I'm shooting raw files, right? They're very flat, very lifeless, particularly when you're shooting in this sort of environment where the light is very harsh in the middle of the day sort of thing. Okay, but it's all there, it's bloody incredible, I'll tell you what. This one I call the tulip. Okay? Often you'll see, yeah, true. You see that line going through the tulip there, and then there's a couple here as well. Camel tracks, camel footprints, they've gone through the lake when it's been wet, and they've created a new print. Alright, so I'm glad you brought that up. Who's that? Who said that? Prize for you, thank you. So, what am I trying to do here? Okay, where I'm going as a career, and I know this sounds really wanky, and excuse my rudeness, but you know how you have artists that say an artist statement? Well, this is my artist statement, if you believe in that. With the work that I produce, I'm trying to blur the lines between what is photography and what is perhaps art. I know photography is classified as an art, what I'm trying to do is have people look at it and say that I question whether or not it's a photograph or whether it's a painting. And then if they work out whether it's a photograph or a painting, or I tell them it's a photograph, I then want them to try and work out what the hell is it. Okay? So I'm not a painter. I can't draw, but I can take a photograph. Thank goodness I've still got this finger. And so what I'm looking to do is be as creative as possible and abstract as possible with this type of art form, as you can see. So I'm often shooting with a tighter lens, like this was taken with a 70-200 lens. I'm not wanting to show off that, that first shot that I took of Lake Eyre, and this is my area of photography, and buy this as a piece of art. Not that, because to me that's just a scene setter. That's just, this is where I was. To me, I'm looking at somebody who purchased that and say, that's amazing, I'd love to have that hanging on my wall. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, you'll see more of that as we keep going through. Lake Eyre is an incredible place to photograph. It really is. It blew my mind how diverse the landscape is and how revealing it can be. So what I mean by that is you can fly along and it all looks very boring, but you'll see some sort of, abstract art form like this, and you go, oh, that looks amazing, I have to photograph that. You download it on your computer, it looks like a dull, lifeless, grey thing. And I set up some actions in Lightroom just to go click, and then go bang, and it was like, wow, that's purple. Oh, look at that one, that's amazing. It's got some blues / reds, magentas, things like that. Oh, look at that one.
To the purple one.
Yeah.
What sort of things have you done in Lightroom to get that?
The dehaze tool is my favourite tool in Lightroom for these things. Does anyone know where that is? Yeah, if you're in the latest version or one of the latest versions of Lightroom, if you go into the develop module under effects, if we have time I'll show you later, and there's a dehaze slider. Most people know dehaze associated with the graduate filter, the gradient filter that you pull over a sky, because the dehaze is there to obviously not have the picture or the sky looks hazy. But there's a slider underneath the effects palette in the develop module that will affect the overall photograph. And you've got to use it very carefully though. So what is dehaze doing? I found that it's generally adding clarity, which is sharpness, contrast, saturation, mainly, but it's pretty heavy. So I'm not ramping it to 100%. I'm just taking it up to where I think I've gone too far and then bringing it back up to it. Okay? And that's what's just teasing out the colour in these and the detail. Really, it saved my life, because with a lot of the photographs that I was taking up at Lake Eyre, I'm like, these are just, there's nothing in this, And yet all of a sudden it was like opening a present at Christmas time. You never know what you're going to get. You hope it's going to be good. And, all of a sudden pop, you've got this brilliant photograph. So.
Question. When you're actually in the plane taking the photo,
yeah.
in your eye, is that how you're seeing it, or have you seen it for what it's going to become?
Yeah, I see it for what it's going to become. So I see potential in it. And when you're paying $400, $500, sometimes $2,800 an hour, you tend to take it and hope that it comes out later. But sometimes you never know. That's why, Mary says to me, how's the flight? And I go, good, I hope. Because you never know. Sometimes you can look on the back of the camera while you're flying and go, yeah, that's good. Pat on the back, keep going, well done, Tom. But often they just don't know how they get to that.
What altitude is this taking? Is there a best altitude?
No, there's not a best altitude, because it all depends on the focal length of the lens, doesn't it? So you can have a wide angle lens and need to be down lower, depending on what you want to photograph, or you can be up higher and need a longer focal length lens. So to answer your question, Lake Eyre was 500 to 1,000 feet, okay? And then other places I've gone up to about 2,000, sometimes 3,000, but it's in the 1,000 to 2,000. I'm using a Pentax 645Z, as I said, and we're not even sponsored by them. Hello, Rico Australia, if you'd like to sponsor me. And I'm using a 75mm lens, which is the equivalent of about a 60mm on the digital SLR camera. So it's just a standard sort of lens. Incredibly sharp.
What time of the year were you there?
This was October. Yeah.
Tom, what sort of shutter speeds are you doing?
Yeah, good question. So I shoot on shutter priority, which TV for the Canon users, S for the Nikon users, at about 1,000 to 1,500 of a second. Ideally, I want to shoot the shutter speed as low as possible, because that gives me the nice aperture that I need. Now, why is aperture important when you're shooting at this height? Not for depth of field, for for clarity out of the lens. You know, you've all heard that the best sort of aperture in your lens, the sharpest aperture I should say, is around the middle. You know, if you've got a lens that goes to 2.8 and f22, the middle's around f8, f11. So ideally, I'd be shooting around f8, f11. Often it's not the case. I'm having to shoot it because I don't like to take the ISO anything more than about 400. So I'm often playing in the 200 space, 200, 400 space, and I have to shoot at like 1500ths of a second, f4, f5, 6, sometimes f2.8, things like that. And some lenses perform better. I've got a Nikon 21mm Zeiss lens that's horrible at 2.8, even at f4, it gets soft on the edges. So I'm just, you know, just so disappointed in it. And yet this Pentax with the 75 lens, because it's not such a wide angle lens, tends to perform better with that sort of narrow aperture. Just amazing, right? Just nature just doing its thing, right? You know what I find most gratifying about these photographs is A, it allows me to be a little more abstract than I could possibly be with a paintbrush. But B, the return on my investment, I'm not talking about money because it's expensive, but the return on my time investment is incredibly more rewarding than being on the ground. So when I remember that, who has gone out and taken, you know, gone for a shoot and said, oh, I'll go out and get some lovely photographs today and come back with nothing, we all have. I can't recall a flight that I've taken where I haven't got something at least that I put on my wall at home or put into a book or want to show somebody. Some of the most rewarding flights have literally been an hour's work where I've got 20 or 30 amazing photographs, and you'll see those soon. Have I done that?
They won't take it up if the weather's bad.
I haven't read, yeah, if the weather's particularly bad in terms of wind, for example. I had a situation, I'll come to that. Can I skip forward? No. The latest work that I've done was up at the Snowy Mountains, and three of us arranged, two from Sydney and myself from Melbourne, arranged to meet up at the Snowy Mountains to share the helicopter flight. And the weather was great in terms of no cloud on the horizon, and you know it's going to be beautiful sunsets, but it was blowing 100 kilometres an hour. And so the pilot refused to take us up sensibly. And so unfortunately the other two had to go home for work commitments, and I stayed in stupidly wore the cost of the helicopter flight because I hung around for another 48 hours and unfortunately got to go up, but it was worth it. So sometimes it does conspire against you. Sometimes, you know, it might be cloudy or partly cloudy and you get some great photographs because you get some nice shadows of the cloud on the landscape, you know, as well. So, you know, sometimes it's a bit hit and miss and sometimes you get what you didn't expect as well. Tarkine down in the northwest, a particularly sensitive area to the Tasmanians in particular. They're all greenies down there, aren't they? They're all pretty passionate about their environment, which is good. They're desperately, Peter Dobrowski, what a legend. There's a quote, you know, his famous quote, you know, you don't go out there to get away from it all, you go there to go back home, that sort of thing. That's on the gallery wall in like...
Did you get to go down to Sandy Cape? Did you go down that far?
No. So with the Tarkine, I was in Wynyard, which is, you know, Table Cape, sort of on the north coast, and we fly across to Arthur River and we went as south as sort of Pyman River, that sort of area. So not as far as Sandy Cape though. But amazingly spot, that's looking south towards the Cape. So you've got this sort of wilderness area that's largely unprotected. It's got about 13 different mining leases in it, not all of them active. And it's not locked up as such, it's not a national park, so they're desperately trying to protect it. So hence one of the reasons why I wanted to go and photograph it, highlight the importance of the Tarkine. And this beautifully wild, remote area, you know, can you imagine walking along these beaches, right? You know, this weather's coming all the way from Africa, you know, across the Indian Ocean and hitting the western part of Tassie here, so quite incredible. It's beautiful, like a Tarn lake that I found up in the hills there. See this lens flare coming through? I like it. I leave it in. Yeah. Be a pain in the ass to try and bloody Photoshop it out anyway. So, you know, some beautiful areas here where we're just photographing abstracts, but also some more sort of like, I guess, scene setters as well here. Beautiful landscape. Just a nice remote rocky outcrop. If you've seen photographs of the Ivanhoe from the ground as well, there's some great shots, the rock formations and what have you. I'm really into rocks. My brother's a geologist, perhaps that's where I get it from. Okay. All right, they're all out of order there. This was supposed to be in the lake area as well. So there's a spot, if you ever get up there, go to a place called Painted Hills. So this has only recently been discovered. No, it's not the breakaways, right? It's not. It's commonly misnamed that. So the breakaways is to the north of Cooper Beatty, that a lot of people get to. This is on a private station called Anna Creek Station, previously owned by the Kidman family. And this is not accessible by land at all. It is highly erosive, highly fragile environment, and it's highly weathered, as you can see here. When it rains, it probably washes away a lot of it. It runs for about, it stretches for about 15-20 kilometres, and it is the most amazing landscape you'll ever see. These photographs don't do it justice, but it's sort of like, you know those mountains in Peru, those rainbow mountains in Peru? Has anyone seen photographs of that? If you want to go and see it, you can come with me next year. But this is sort of similar stuff, right? Absolutely incredible. It's oxidised. It's, you know, for those who know their geology, this is an oxidised environment whereby you've got all these different processes going on to create all these different colours.
Is it erosive because the yellow is sulphur?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's got sulphur in it, doesn't it? Yeah. Absolutely incredible environment. So I flew over this twice. I stuffed it up the first time. I was flying too low with a sort of wrong lens, and so I ran the pilot, she's a young lady. I got her to take me back the following day, and I said I want to be up higher and we'll do something different, so we did, which was great. So that's that place is to the south of William Creek. If you go up to William Creek and you fly over Lake Eyre, you do yourself a favour and just fly over the Painted Hills, only like 20 minutes away. Okay, Broome in Western Australia. Mary and I, this time last year, were in Broome having a bit of a holiday, but of course my camera came with me. And I stuck up for a flight. Now I've done a lot of flying over Broome and the Kimberley, thank goodness, but this was a real special time. This is Roebuck Bay and a high tide where you've got the mangrove trees there being swamped by the beautiful water. Why is the water that colour? It's got a lot of silt in it from Roebuck Bay, which is basically a massive mud flat. Okay, so it takes on that beautiful colour, a lot like sort of a glacial sort of river, you know what I mean? Got those red cliffs there as well. And what I didn't notice at the time, it's not a dust spot, it's a turtle. Cute. There's been a lot of press at the moment about how much rain they've had up there. They've had 1,000 mil of rain in January alone up in Broome. Record rainfalls. Roebuck Plains, which is sits out the back of Roebuck Bay. I've always flown into Broome and gone, that's incredible. You've got all these creeks, they come out in lines from Roebuck Plains into Roebuck Bay. Sorry?
It's all sea, yeah, my daughter lives there.
It's all sea, it's covered in metres of water at the moment, right? Unbelievable. Anyway, we were up there and there'd been some good rain as well, and the colours in this place is absolutely incredible. Again, I'm only enhancing what I already see there. I don't know what vegetation that is that turns it purple, but that's incredible. So it was lovely to do a few flights over there. I've done a few helicopters as well as planes over the Broome area, creeks, and this place. This was just this was a flooded creek, or this floods in the high tide, right? And just taking on this amazing green colour. It's incredible. Oops. See that cloud? I love that cloud. I wish I'd shot more of that. You know, just a beautiful cloud giving that speckled light. Okay, I love the variegation in the colour of that one there and the greens. Yeah. So that was Broome. And then Hutt Lagoon. So what happened last year was that I took my son Ollie on a bit of a road trip. So we flew across to Perth and then we drove up the northwest coast to Karajini and then back again. I popped in on a plane and he went home and I ran a workshop in Karajini and then I drove the car back to Perth, and I hope they didn't check kilometres before, well they probably did. I checked the kilometres before I hired it because they said unlimited kilometres and I left it with 4,000 extra kilometres on it. Speedo after 2 weeks. But there's a place called Hutt Lagoon. Rarely shot from the air.
I swear you'll see more and more photos of these coming up in years to come because everyone will jump on board. But this is what Cutler Lagoon looks like from the air, just taken with my iPhone. Okay, so it's a naturally occurring lake. It's north of Geraldton, for those who know where Geraldton is, it's about 5 hours north of Perth. It's a naturally occurring lake that sits adjacent to the sea. You can see the sea in the top left-hand corner there. Okay, it takes on this pink colour because there's what's called a creatine. I'm probably getting corrected here. It's a form of algae. It's a pigment. They actually farm this, hence these walls here. A lot like they farm salt, but in this case they're farming this pigment, and it's used as a colouring agent in our food. Okay, it's the largest of its kind in the world, the largest farm of this particular creatine in the world. Right? And so you fly over this, and I must admit that there is a little bit with the colour in this, because when I was teasing out the colour, it just wasn't the pink that I wanted, it was a little flat, so I just went, and you got this. Right, so just incredible. That gives you an idea, what they're doing is pumping the water from the lake into these ponds and then having it evaporate and filling it back up again, much like they do with salt farms. This is a natural part of the lake. Okay, so this is a naturally occurring formation there that I found quite special. And that's again just showing you, in situ what part of this lake looks like with the incredible colour. The Hoopman Abrolhos, that was another part of the road trip. So the Hoopman Abrolhos, has anyone heard of the Hoopman Abrolhos? Peter, what's the Hoopman Abrolhos famous for?
I've heard of it, that's all I know.
Is that where the boat, that boat?
Yeah, the Batavia actually, back in the 1600s. But that's not what I see it famous for. It's got some of the richest people in Western Australia living on the Hoopman Abrolhos. Why? Because they have the licenses to fish the crayfish there, the lobsters, right? And they live, I don't think I've got a photograph of it. Maybe I do. How do I bring this up here? No, not there. Let me see if I've got one. Yes, here we go. I'm just working out. This is the second time I've used my phone to flick slides. Usually I'm standing next to the laptop doing that. So, excuse me, I'm catching up with, the modern world. So they live in these, these huts, right? It's an atoll, right? So it's very low to the sea. Get a tidal wave or a tsunami through there and see you later. But they've got these amazing, mega expensive boats, I'm sure, with cray pots on the back of them. They've got a house that they live in, which I'm sure is very primitive, stinking bloody hot any time of year, I reckon. And then they've got masses and masses of, can you see them? Of, water, what do you call them? How do you make the blank? Tanks, water tanks, thank you. Water tanks next to them to collect water, because of course they can't just tap into the local water supply. These are about 50 kilometres offshore at least. Okay, so the Hoopman Abrolhos, I call it the Great Barrier Reef of Western Australia because it is absolutely incredible in terms of colour. If you want to sort of see what it looks like, that's what it looks like from the air. There's 3 different sort of separate archipelagos, and I think it consists of about 90 different islands in the end, or caves as you see here. And you can get the most amazing sort of formations and colours and what have you out of flying over here. So that was incredible. Absolutely glorious part of the world. And then Shark Bay, which has become my favourite place to photograph aerials, okay? Aside from, I thought Lake Eyre was good, but then I went to Shark Bay. So what's Shark Bay famous for? Sharks. It was actually the first World Heritage area, or first area to get the World Heritage listing here in Australia. I didn't know that. It's 1,000,000 hectares of marine reserve, home to the largest concentration of dugongs in the world, around 10 to 15,000, depending on what website you read. An average depth of only 9 metres, which is 3 times the height of this roof, which isn't very deep. For those who can't swim, that's extremely deep. For those of us who can, that's still deep. But for an animal living in the ocean, that's nothing, right? And so it's got all these, because it's so shallow, it's got all these amazing seabeds. And of course, we know what the dugongs love the seabeds. They're often called the sea cow because they graze on seagrass. Okay. And this is what part of it looks like from the air, and it is just incredible, right? You've got this amazing blues and turquoises in the water, and then there's this red cliffs, similar to what we saw back at Broome. Okay. This is the type of work that I photographed from that particular area. This one here, we just had an order from the client had been to Shark Bay and was doing a decoration or a redecoration in the home, and said to the interior designer that she'd like a photograph from Shark Bay. And the interior designer had seen us at a high-end furniture and art show last year, and said, I know somebody who's been there. So they purchased this as a 60 by 47 inch beautiful limited edition print, 1 of 10. That's 1.5 meters high. Clarity in it is sensational, just as good as this. There's that little red tongue that I said, look out for that, Amazing, right? So what you're seeing here is, without falling off the stage, this is the dune, but then this is underwater. And so all this more saturated red is underwater, and then it's all being, tide and currents to create that. Pretty cool, hey? Yeah. Beautiful lagoon there.
Where are the sharks?
You know what? I didn't see one shark when I was photographing all of this. I saw manta rays, I saw what I thought were dugongs, and I didn't see a shark at all. So I might have to go back. It's interesting speaking to the pilots, because they've done a fair bit of just sightseeing and flying, and they said, you know what, if we fly over that way, if we fly over the other side of the bay, I've got some really cool stuff where the sand or the sand underneath the water gets this silvery colour to it. So if you don't believe me, go on to Google Maps, go to Shark Bay and start having a look around, because I can show you this very spot from Google Maps. It is incredible. I literally have gone on afterwards and gone, yeah, you're right, it does, There's parts of it where there's nothing there because it's too deep, and there's other parts where it goes shallow and you get this amazing silvery blue out of the photograph. It's incredible. Sorry, there's a question back there.
Shooting in the end, are you wearing goggles, or how is what you do?
I make sure I have my hair cut, because if I don't have a haircut, the wind blows the fringe into my eyes and it feels like somebody lashed me with a whip in the eyes. Am I wearing goggles? Yeah, I'm generally wearing sunnies. Yeah, just to protect the wind. Yeah, it's more than that. Yeah. When you're in a plane or a helicopter, it's worse to be at the back. Mary knows, because she went in my friend's soft top Porsche last night, and I was in the front, and she was in the back. I offered the front seat to her, but she said no time. This is your first time in the car, please.
I could barely fit in the back seat.
And the wind, obviously, is dispersed from the windshield of a car, or a helicopter, or a plane, and then it wraps around and it comes in the back, and it's often very big at the back. So if you're flying in a helicopter with the doors off, grab the front seat. Good question. Right. Okay. All these little things that you pick up, as you go. This one again, we sold this at an aerial exhibition I had in my gallery recently. Absolutely incredible. So all this is water moving from the bay, which is in the top left-hand corner, into an inlet. Okay, and the movement of water there creates that beautiful effect. When you see this in my gallery, for example, blown up big, there's very little of it that actually represents what you think is a photograph, because it's all so fluid. It's like I've created it in Photoshop with the blur tools, that sort of thing. There's a very few parts of it that are stationary. What I'm trying to say is that you can look at it and go, oh yeah, I can see that's part of the beach. The rest of it is just incredibly fluid. When you're in Shark Bay, there's a place called the Useless Loop, okay? This is a community just here. They all work for the saltworks here. This is a saltworks that produces 1 million tonnes of salt every year to be exported overseas, mainly into the Asian market, for table salt, things like that. And you can imagine how good it is to have a saltworks in a place like this. Why? Because there's a high concentration of salt in the sea anyway, because of the shallowness of the water. And B, so bloody hot, it evaporates pretty quick, doesn't it? Okay? So they've got this incredibly successful saltworks there. Okay? And when you fly across from Shark Bay, a town called Denham, to here, it's only about 15-20 minutes. But just out of the frame here on the right-hand side, left-hand side, they've got a long pier, and they stockpile the salt there, and then the cargo ship comes along, they fill it up. See you later, off you go. Okay? But but then you fly over and you get shots like that. So a lot of my photography now, when I'm shooting aerials, comes down to repetition, form, shape. I probably should have been an architect, maybe not smart enough. But when we exhibited this at one of the that high-end furniture and art show, a lot of the architects that were there, like architects as well as furniture designers, things like that, were really attracted to this photograph in particular because of the lines. You know, they're all about lines and shapes and patterns and things like that, and geometry and symmetry and all that sort of stuff, which is I'm very much into as well. I like order and form and structure and things in my photographs. I don't like randomness. A lot of the photographs you can see here tonight are pretty clean and simple. I like the viewer, when you're looking at them, just to go, yeah, no, that looks nice. Not, where should my eye be going? I don't know where it should be looking, that sort of thing. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at 4 different ponds, hence the 4 different colours. Now, why are they different? Because each one has a different amount of water in it, okay, or a different depth to it. Obviously, these 2 here are the deepest ponds because they're darker. This one here is lighter because it's shallow water at the top left-hand corner, and this one's empty. So what's going on is that obviously once the salt or the water evaporates completely, all you're left with is salt, and then they come along with a big, tractor with a bucket on the front, and they just scrape it off, right? Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? Now what I want to show you is what happens is, of course, once they've scraped the salt off, what do? They fill it with water again, right? Same process. What are we looking at here? Straight out of camera, but it looks like I've painted this, doesn't it? Doesn't that look like brush strokes? So what's happened here is that they've obviously taken the salt off the pan, they've filled it with water again, and then as the water dries, you're seeing the remnants of where they've taken the salt off before, just like that previous shot with all the lines. You see? Isn't that incredible? I love that. I want that as a big print on my wall. And I rarely say that about my photographs. Mary knows. How'd you go? Oh yeah, they're okay. You know, every artist, I said this to Mary the other day, and she goes, everybody goes through that, not just artists. I said, isn't it unusual for artists to go through a stage in their life where they hate everything that they've done? Like a painter who just goes, all my work is just crap, or a photographer says, I don't know why I bother. How many of you have had those thoughts? Right, somebody mentioned Dombrowski before. There's a fantastic documentary, ABC documentary called Wildness, I think it's called, that tells about his life in Tasmania, coming out from Latvia after the Second World War. And at one stage there, he was so, I hope I get this story right, I don't mean to get it wrong, but as I understand it, he was so disillusioned with his photography and his career and where it was heading, that she came home one day and Mary was sitting in front of the fire flicking his transparencies, 5x4 transparencies, not little things, not 35-roll film, $10 down at the local pharmacy. We're talking, mega expensive dollars and mega expensive time. He's just sitting there flicking into the fire because he was just so about what his career was doing or where he was going or what he thought of his photographs. I'm not sure, I wasn't there, but isn't it amazing? So it's nice. What I'm trying to say is that it's nice to actually find a few photographs of one that I like. This is another lovely photograph from that particular area there. What you're seeing here on the left is where the salt has dried, but also then formed through wind to create these are salt ridges, basically. So all these white lines you're seeing here is just where the salt built up, and why it's random is because the wind created this salt. Maybe this is a disused pond that they no longer use. You often get, no, you don't often, but I've seen photographs of Lake Air like this too. They're quite high. I think they're as high as what this, this platform is here. I'm not sure, but isn't that incredible? So the pilot is flying along and he says, "Oh, while we're here, do you want to have a look at these beautiful cliffs, sea cliffs? They're apparently some of the highest in the world." And I went, "Yeah, I'll take a look at those." So we're flying along. They look quite nice, but then we fly over this. They're called the Karonga sand dunes. And we're flying over them really late now because I've planned it so that we're getting there, an hour before sunset. And just the amazing patterns that I found by photographing these sand dunes. These are some of my favourite aerials at the moment. I just found them quite incredible. And I purposely underexposed them because I didn't want to blow the highlights, because we all know we're not supposed to blow the highlights, but B, I I just wanted there to be this level of intrigue when you're looking at them to only just see, you know, just the highlights and really have some depth to the photograph. You know how sometimes if you make a shot darker, it has more intrigue. That's what I'm looking at here. The projective is actually giving them a bit much, but you know, when we come to print them, they'll be quite dark. So that was an added bonus. So all in Shark Bay, we've got beautiful, you know, shots of turquoise blue water with red dunes. We've got the saltworks. We've got those beautiful sea cliffs, and we've got the dunes over here as well. So it's quite amazing. So we're coming towards the end. And so one part of the project that I thought would never occur, well certainly not in the 12 months that I'd set myself, was this challenge of the Snow Mountains. So for those who've known me or heard me speak before, I'm very passionate about the alpine environment, in particular photographing in the snow. I love it, it suits my sort of minimalistic style of photography, but also it provides a few challenges for me to get the photographs in the first place, doesn't it, Mary? So let's not go there. You can get lost in the snow, and you know, so long as you play it safe.
From experience, you're talking about you could get lost or you did get
If you're irresponsible enough, you might get lost.
I do remember your previous presentation now.
Oh, you see, this is where rumors start. You know? This is where people start making up stories. I'll never forget Mary's voice on the phone. If you ever do that to me again, I will kill you. You won't die of natural causes. I went up there one year and it wasn't a good time of year to go. I found out later. I told a friend of mine that I went up in July and he said, you never go up onto the main range of the Snowy Mountains in July. It's like a death zone. It's like, so this is the main range in the Snowy Mountains. So what are we looking at here? Okay, for those who aren't familiar with this sort of area, this is where Thredbo, Parachute, Utica, those sort of ski resorts are, okay? Thredbo is in sort of like the sort of back middle section over the other side, that being the eastern side, right? All the weather comes from the west. What we're looking at here is the west face. This is pretty hairy stuff. People who have parked their cars, we suspect, where you've been, you know, the powers that be, have parked their car at Charlotte's Pass, walked on for a nice little day walk, and never returned because the weather's turned against them and they've probably walked so far across here to the west face that they've probably gone down one of these chutes and then, you know, the little animals come along and have a little bit of fun. So, next slide, Mary says. Charlotte's Pass is just over the back here to the left as well. What's Charlotte's Pass famous for? It's a ski resort, it's a very small ski resort. The coldest recorded temperature in Australia, okay? Back I think in the 80s or 90s, not that long ago. Anyone like to have a guess? Sensible guess, not minus 50. Minus 30. That's pretty bloody good. Wow, that's cold for Australia. Very cold. Wow, alright. Usually I get like minus 10, minus 15. It's minus 23 degrees, which I think is remarkable for Australia, right? You know, this is this land of, you know, Bondi Beach and Uluru and Hugh Jackman. But then you've got, you know, minus 23 degrees, for goodness sake, right? Lisa gets that one, she's seen, you know, despicable me. Alright, so what am I going on about? I've camped on some of these places here, which is quite amazing in the winter time, timing at the right spots. But I was very fortunate last year, to have the opportunity to photograph it from the air, which I don't know of too many people who have done this. Stupid enough or had the right conditions, things like that. Absolutely incredible flying over this landscape to see it in the late afternoon light with all these beautiful ridges of the snow that's been caused by the wind in particular. This is a place called the Sentinel, this little peak here, right in the middle, that one there. I need a laser pointer, don't I? And there's crazy backcountry skiers that I've seen up this part of the world that come up here and they ski down all these chutes, these lines, you know, they ski down and then they climb back up. And they do that for kicks during this winter time. Isn't that amazing? So, just an absolutely brilliant part of the world. It runs, the main range runs, it's sort of like a long, thin line of mountain that runs north-south, okay, in its orientation. And it's probably about 30 kilometres long by about 7 or 8 kilometres wide. It's not that wide, it's quite long compared to it is wide. I haven't walked all of it yet, but that's Kosciuszko sort of in the middle on the horizon. They're the most boring peak in the world. It really is. It's an embarrassment. But it's the highest of the continent, so when they all the climbers go and climb the 7 or 8 peaks or whatever it is and climb the highest mountain in every continent, they've got to come to Australia and walk up bloody 2,200 metres to Mount Kosciuszko. Ridiculous. I've climbed it about 3 times, twice in one day, for goodness sake.
You can take it shopping with it too.
What's that?
You can take it shopping, it's so easy.
Oh, you can ride your bike to almost a couple of minutes. It's ridiculous. It really is. It is, I'll show you which one it is. It's this one, right there. Look at that. No Matterhorn or, you know, Everest, is it? Anyway, let's move on. So just some beautiful photographs here. This is one of the only two sort of glacial alpine lakes on the actual range itself. This is called Blue Lake, covered and frozen in snow. And then there's another one called Blood Lake, which is just out over here. And these steep lines here with skiers come down here, and apparently it's one of the only places in Australia where you can go ice climbing. Okay, these beautiful peaks and what have you here. Isn't it amazing? Also, what we did this year, or last year I should say, I keep thinking it's 2017, but we've moved on, we're in 2018 now. Last year was one of those years that went on forever, but in a good way. Got lots done in 2017, which is good. We also ran a photographic workshop in the snow, which we're doing again this year, up at Mount Hotham. And the previous year we booked a helicopter to hopefully do some aerial photographs, and we got nothing but cloud and snow and weather for the whole time we were there. But this year we had the most brilliant weather, and so we were able to get up in a helicopter and photograph over the sort of Hotham Falls area, and you've got these amazing creeks that are flowing through and getting these, again, beautiful abstract photographs that I look for. Lines, patterns, shapes, things like that. Somebody's footprints going through the middle there. It's just an aerial abstract of the lake. And then, of course, we've got the snow gums that got burnt by the fires there, in recent times, being the last 10, 15 years. And this was taken sort of around 9 a.m. in the morning, so we've got that beautiful light casting those shadows over the landscape there. And then it's just an abstract shot of the trees themselves. So that comes to the end of what's Mary?
Oh.
The presentation in terms of abstract photographs. What have I done with all of them? So they're of course being put into a beautiful coffee table book that will be printed one day when
When we get the pages numbers down.
when we get the page numbers down, Mary says, no, it's not coming down. This is inside my gallery here, so these are a couple of examples of some of the work that we've had printed and on display. They're about 1.5 meters high, those ones there, and a couple of others that are just on the walls for an exhibition that we did. And if you're looking at keeping in contact with me, you can jump on my website, tomputt.com. So this is what it looks like. We run photographic workshops all over Australia and the world now. This is Namibia where we're going next month. And I am deadly serious. If you'd like to come and join me, we have 2 people coming at the moment and room for a few more. So if you'd like to come and join us, it'll be a very small, intimate group and you'll get plenty looked after. We spent 2 weeks there. Mary came last year. It was amazing, wasn't it, Bad? Yeah, incredible part of the world. This is a place called Saucer Play with some of the highest sand dunes in the world. This is from a helicopter that we hired to do a beautiful personal charter flight over there. But it's 2 weeks of the most amazing landscapes. It's quite incredible. If you click on photography courses, in the top right hand corner there you end up on this page here, which is just explaining me and what we do and how good they are. And then there's a list of the photographic workshops that we're running this year. We have space available for most of those, so if you'd like to join us for any of those, please do so. The Faroe Islands, anyone heard of those? Am I saying it correctly? Is it Faroe or Faroe or Faroe? I'll find out when I go there, won't I? They'll tell me. Faroe, let's say Faroe. For those who don't know where it is, it's in between Scotland and Iceland. It's in the middle of the North Atlantic Sea. You get there via Copenhagen. It's actually owned. It falls under the jurisdiction of Denmark. And it's beautiful remote islands that are beautifully high sea cliffs and no trees, no vegetation as such. Just these beautiful rolling hills and an amazing scenery there. And then also, if you're on social media, you have to look me up, unlikely. Just type in Tom Putt there and that's what you'll see. There's the gorgeous Mary. So we got dressed up for our aerial exhibition. We had an aerial exhibition in the gallery a few months ago. And I decided to be Biggles, and Mary was one of those sexy 19... What era was that, babe? Yeah, maybe 50s, flight attendants. We've got this fantastic costume shop just around the corner from us, and we raced in and said, we need to dress up for this thing we're doing, and they fitted us and all that. Quite good, didn't they? Are there any questions? That's it for now. Any questions? Hope I haven't kept you too long. 9:34, is that good, Lisa? Is that good? I've behaved myself?
That's very good.
Come on, there must be a question. No? Sorry?
Yeah, well, you sell your photographs.
I do, yes.
Do you find that you can actually sell a particular type of photograph over and over again?
Oh, that's a good question. I
Because
probably
you might get someone say, oh, gee, that's a great photograph. I'll get one of those.
Yes.
Because it is commercialism in the end, which obviously.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I don't think I've been in the game long enough to sort of know that just yet, and it'll be interesting over time to see if there's a particular location or colour or, you know, if there's a common theme amongst those that tend to sell better than others. Well, I can't answer that for now. You know, we're fortunate in the sense that we've been able to sort of have a couple of exhibitions already where people have said, I love that photograph, I'll buy that. That one of Shark Bay, we've just got, you know, red down, it's cut in half, you know, diagonally red on one side and blue on the other. You know, it's quite a sort of, I won't say boring, it's just pretty sort of, you know, straight up sort of photograph, and yet somebody saw that as attractive enough to want to hang on their wall, so that's nice. So we don't know as yet, but I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's certain... Sorry?
The aerials of the Mornington Peninsula and we sold that same photograph twice.
Yes, that's correct.
And
yeah.
it wasn't any really a favourite of either of us. But yeah, you don't know.
That's why I think it's important, you know, just in terms of commercialism and selling photographs, for me as a gallery owner, to have as many photographs in the gallery as possible on the walls. And we haven't done that as well as we probably could have for now, because we've got this factory that we've converted into a gallery with high ceilings, you know, 5-6 metre high ceilings, and we've got beautiful big artwork on the walls, but we don't have many of them because we've got such big artwork. And so, you know, I think the chances of selling photography is greatly increased. Perhaps not, but I would have thought it's greatly increased because you've got more prints on the walls with different varieties, so that gives perhaps more of an opportunity for people to actually come in and go, oh, I like that one. You know, if I just had just aerials, or maybe I just had, you know, all of those beautiful sand dunes all on the walls, people might just come in and go, well, I don't like these, and then walk out. So we're learning things as we go. There's lots of things that, you know, we need to take into account in order to maximise the sale as well as the experience of people coming into the gallery. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Tilt shift lenses.
Yes.
They were originally invented for aerial photography.
Were they? I thought more for architectural photography to get lines straight. Really? Why is that the case? Because then you...
Because you can take a perspective like it.
Yes.
And then, you know, it's perspective.
Yes, correct.
1904.
Right, okay. I didn't know that, thank you.
Would there be a place for them to apply?
Perhaps, don't they take a little bit of fiddling around in order? Yeah, so I've had a few occasions. You know that shot, I might be able to skip into, I'll show you just quickly. Have I got 5 minutes, Lisa?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
You can say no to
Yeah, exactly.
You're not
You're not going to want to correct
Just say
you or
no.
distortion or something like that, are you?
Not often. So what I wanted to show you here was that Lightroom. All right, so have a look at this, for example. Well, there's a shot from no, there's not a shot. Where's it gone? Why has it done that? It's your computer, Tom. You get it right. Just 1 second. You can't see anything. No. You can see now? Mirror displays, arrangement. Mirror displays. Yeah. So this was a shot, this was the straight out of camera shot of that formation at Shark Bay that you've seen in the presentation, right? This is how it came out of my camera, which was like, oh, so disappointing. Because you've seen from my photographs and how I've told you how I shoot, I like to shoot straight down the landscape to not have that perspective control issue, right? And so, or distortion, I should say. And so this one in particular felt to me like it was distorted. It feels like I've squished it, okay? So I couldn't get around that either because of the lens and the height that we're at and just the vast expanse of this. And literally we were photographing this on the way home from a flight. I was like, done. I'm like, yeah, let's go home, we're done. You know, it was the last shoot at Shark Bay. And so I probably didn't take as great a care to shoot this as what I should have. But then I decided that I would then just bring it into Photoshop and using, you know, transformation tools, stretch it, and rather than being horizontal, I'll make it vertical and get this out of it, which to me is what I saw in my son's eye. So, you know, we're very fortunate these days. You know, the greatest time to be photographing in the world at any time is now.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm saying great some videos. All right, and I'm going to be controversial. We should have put this on Facebook Live. The greatest thing that has happened to photography, full stop. Do you believe me? No. Fine. Okay, so let's think about the revolution of photography and what happened, right? So photography was invented and we had film and it was black and white, then it went colour. Amazing, right? But then we went from colour film to digital, and then 20 years ago, let me tell you this, 20 years ago, if I had come to this camera club and said to you guys, in 10, 15 years time, everybody's going to be walking around with a phone in their pocket and they're going to be so satisfied with the photographs that they take from it, they're going to want to share it, and at best still you're going to be able to share it with everyone in the world in a blink of an eye. You would have laughed at me. You take such a good photograph that you do want to share it with people, but then we've got a camera with us the whole time around, haven't we? Like, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened in photography. Not necessarily iPhone, but digital, right? Just think of what we used to have to put up with the digital camera out, you know? Had photographs, maybe weeks later you get them back from the lab or wherever you send them to, and then you get them back and you're really disappointed with them, and you know, I'm going to throw that camera out, or I'm not going to use it again, or I have photography, or I'm not good at this, or whatever else could go on. I know, because I've been there, done that. I shot film before digital camera. Sorry, taking film, yeah, through X-ray machines, the X-ray machines screwing up your family snaps, you know. You just spent tens of thousands of dollars in 4 weeks overseas and they're all gone. And so, you know, these days we're so fortunate in what we've got, right? It's incredible. So, you know, I really do think that we're living in this most amazing time to take photographs, and you know, we're very fortunate in what we can do. I'm baffled on. If you'd like to hear more from me, I'll hang around. So thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Well, we've been very fortunate in the past to have Tom come along. When we saw him, several of us saw him at Bats last year, and quite a few, but maybe not all of these aerial shots. It was really inspiring then, and that's why we managed to twist his arm a little bit over dinner and get him to come along and agree to come on tonight. So I think they really are inspiring photos, and I hope that's Tom's mission, is to inspire us, and hopefully that's what you'll take away with you from tonight. So thank you very much indeed for coming with us to us again.
Thanks,
Just a little
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, if you could pop your chairs to the side and we'll break this stuff up and just have a quick drink and before you leave. Thank you very much.
Once again, for that. Stop the
Oh, sorry.
screen flow.
Oh my god, sorry. Did it stop it?
I think so.
No, that shouldn't have stopped the screen flow.